Let the meltdown begin. MMA Meltdown on the Fight Network. I am Gabriel Morency. Let's do this thing as we pick up the pieces following Mexico City as Fabricio Verdum is the interim champion. No more. Fabricio Verdum smashes Cain Velasquez, who is a 5-1 favorite in this fight. Verdum cashes at plus 400. Eddie Alvarez wins as an underdog. Plus 150, beats Gil Melendez. As we saw, the altitude was a major factor on a Saturday night. It's been a busy spring time in the world of mixed martial arts, and summertime is here, baby. And we got a plethora of fights rapidly approaching. If you haven't been paying attention, Ken Shamrock and Kimbo Slice, oh yeah, that's real. Oh yeah. That's going down this Friday. Joey Odessa, the premier combat sport odds maker in the business, will join me in a couple of moments' time. We'll take a look at Kimbo Slice, Ken Shamrock, take a look at the UFC Fight Night from Germany. So Joanna and Jacek defending her title. It's amazing. You know, Joanna, Double J, we'll just call her. I can't wait to hear Odessa try to pronounce the names on this card this week later on. But you know, Joanna was like a plus 150 underdog against Esparza. She smashed Esparza. Now, you know, the bandwagon is full, and count me in. This chick is crazy, man. She's like insane. She's got that just crazy something about her, and you know what else she's got? Wicked stand-up game. So I look forward to breaking it down with Odessa. We'll crunch some numbers, and it's been much, much too long since we've had the man that they call Bam Bam on the program, the Titan FC lightweight champion. Been on the show many times over the years, but it's been too long. Pat Bam Bam Healy joins us. Pat, always a pleasure, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Gabe, it's always good to talk to you, and I do appreciate you having me on.
Well, you know what? I always appreciate you taking the time to be with us. It's been too long, Pat. It's amazing because you and I met over 5 years ago in a half-empty arena in Montreal. It's been a hell of a roller coaster since then. And here you are going back to Montreal once again to take on a dude from Montreal and Mike Ricci putting the belt on the line.
Yeah, it should be a good scrap. And, you know, I was kind of, it's funny you bring up when we met, I forget what show it was, but it was a totally half-empty arena. There was like 500 people there. It was a good show, too, good fights, and nobody showed up. So I imagine this fight in Montreal with Ricci and, you know, him being from there, there'll be a little better of a turnout.
Yeah, I think this turnout. And you know what it was? It was a W1 event, Pat. And I was going to ask you, if somebody asked you to name every company that you fought in, would you be able to do it?
No way.
No.
I get them mixed up. I can always remember the show and like remember pieces about it, but man, names and I just can't keep that stuff straight.
I got to be honest with you. I looked today and I was like, man, yeah, let me count up how many different companies how many different banners Pat has fought under. I was getting a headache doing it, all right? I did it twice, man. I counted twice. And I came up with 23. 23 different companies. You got 51 fights, 23 different companies, man.
You know, I bounced around a little bit. Go where the work is, I guess. I guess that's what they say.
I think, you know, really, there's only a few you haven't fought in. You didn't fight in Hawaii, right? Yeah, it's ironic because you end up training in Hawaii after. But like Icon and stuff, you never fought there. But pretty much if there's a damn banner, you fought under it, man.
Yeah, you know, it is true. And, yeah, man, Hawaii is like my home away from home, and I've never fought there. So hopefully get back into the UFC, and they'll throw a nice little show in Hawaii, and that'll take care of that.
Yeah, so as we mentioned, the W1 event was in a small arena next to a prison, actually, which was pretty cool. Right next to the prison, right behind there, Bordeaux. And yeah, it wasn't a ton of people and stuff, but it was a great talent on the card. Ton of dudes went on to the UFC, and there were veterans on this card. But this card's a little bit different. We got world titles going on here. Titan FC just signs a deal with UFC Fight Pass. How satisfied are you with your dealings with Titan through 2 fights?
Oh, man, they've treated me great. You know, no complaints. They've kept me rolling. I'm always, you know, I'm definitely in a groove right now where I can feel like training's going really great and I want to fight. So they were nice to throw me right back on the next card. I was hounding them for that, so I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, I have no complaints with Titan, and they've also done a great job of promoting. They really go out of their way to promote you, which is always nice.
Yeah, it seems like you're right. They're trending upwards right now. Now, you take on Mike Ricci. You've been around, so you know who he is, but it's amazing to me. You guys strike me as like the polar opposites. He was all hype coming in. Check out this kid. He's with TriStar. He's with Faraz. He's training with GSP. And he was all hype, and he's had a hard time living up to that hype. I think the mental aspect has gotten to him a little bit. He sort of, became a star before the substance was there, and he's been grinding. Meanwhile, man, you didn't have a lot of hype. You were training with Faraz and GSP and Rory and these dudes every day. Yet here you are, crossing paths here. Completely different routes, though, the way I see it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you bring up a good point. Like, a lot of the time when you come from a gym like TriStar and stuff, you're kind of like would be the sport, like the football equivalent or something of like a blue chip prospect. You know what I mean? Like, you get all this attention, and you can get kind of fast tracked. And I always kind of have a chip on my shoulder, when I come up against those guys, because like you said, I came up in such a different way, So I like getting these fights. I like fighting those guys who have been fast tracked, because my way was the exact opposite. So I like getting my revenge.
We see a lot of guys that on the Ultimate Fighter TV show that sort of come out of nowhere, get 100,000 Twitter followers overnight, get a T-shirt deal, but there's a quick downfall, right? It's almost like the one-hit wonders in music. If you didn't work to get there, not saying it didn't work, but the stardom can mess with people early, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, MMA is a hard game, man, especially when you're, not coming into it with a lot of hype. I mean, the hardest point in MMA is when you haven't quite made it. You're just, knocking on the door, but you still have to make money like you made it. So you gotta either work and train, or you have to, be broke all the time. The hardest part is when you're at the cusp of making it. So, I feel like sometimes those guys don't really have to feel what it's like to go through that, like most of the regular fighters have to.
Now, if MMA, let's put it in a high-rise penthouse term, you've been on every floor, man. You've been in the basement, you've been on the penthouse, you've been in the middle, you've been stuck in the staircase. You know what I'm saying? I look at our careers, you and I, the same, Pat. I really do, and it's funny because I got into this industry in 2002, which right around you started fighting. And man, I've been up, I've been down, I've been left, I've been right, I've been homeless, I've been rich, I've been everything else in between. Yet one thing I've always been is in the game. And you've always just been in the game as well. Did you ever imagine that you'd throw down? You're going on your 52nd fight right now?
Nah, never, man. And, that's funny that you bring up kind of your journey too, man, because, it's tough, and it can be, you can have your ups and downs, but man, it sure makes you something, you know what I mean? Like, sure makes a man out of you. And, there's the best part of life is experience, be it good experiences or bad experiences, just getting experience in life and getting to live a bunch of different things is not a bad way to live.
So
in the end.
And that's why I love you so much, because you understand, man, it's all a journey and stuff. I think guys get caught up in stuff, the wrong stuff. They're worried about what people are saying online. They're worried about, this guy's got a better sponsorship deal than I do. They're just not embracing it and bringing it all in. Mike Ricci's dying to get back into UFC. He's tweeting every day about it. Dana. Where are you with this right now? You've been there. You've done that right now. Titan has the clause, the Zuffa clause, where anyone can go. Is that somewhere you want to be, or do you just take things one day at a time and you're happy being the Titan champion right now?
Well, I'm certainly happy to be Titan champ. But, definitely the UFC is definitely something that's always in the back of my mind. I'm certainly working to get there. It's still the promised land. It's still where you can make the most money, where, the most opportunity lies. So, I'm still definitely got plans to get back there, and I'm working hard towards that, to make that happen.
This has been a lovey-dovey interview so far, but I got to ask you, because I know you well enough to ask you, what the hell happened during the losing streak? We spoke early, and I remember you telling me, I got a little fancy. And, remember you were saying, I was tired of people calling me a grinder all the time. So, I figured, hey, I got some skills. Let me show what I can do. And then I remember talking to you, and you said, Morency, I got to go back to my roots here. I'm going to go back to grinding. When you look back on the rough patches you had, well, you fought some really tough opponents as well. But, what do you put your finger on it where things went wrong?
Well, kind of like how you mentioned, where I mentioned that when we talked last time, I think, I guess I kind of got off in my training. I just got really stale. And to be honest, man, towards the end of my run in the UFC, I was mentally done. I was mentally checked out. I lost the fire. Those couple of losses were hard on me, and really, I think I had to make a change in my training. I ended up, had a chance meeting with Donald Cerrone, Cowboy, and up here in Oregon. We really hit it off, and so now I go down there and train at least 3-4 weeks before my fight. And I think just getting with a new crew of guys, having I kind of miss what we had at Team Quest back in the day, where we all were really competitive, but good teammates and pushed each other in the right ways. And I got that again back, going down to Albuquerque and training at the BMF Ranch is what we call the team that just trains at Cowboys, and then obviously we train at Jackson's too. And I just feel like my fire is back, man. I'm getting in there. I love, I'm beating people down in the gym again and breaking people, and I just feel like I lost my mojo, and man, I feel like I got it back now.
That's a great way of putting it. I can relate to what you're saying there too. I mean, you have 51 fights. You're 31 years old. So if you're fighting as much as you are, you're doing it, but you can't be 100% mental. The gas tank can't always be full all the time. So I totally hear where you're going with that. So, Pat, I know you're a busy man, and we got to get out of here as well, but I'll wrap it up with this. I know you're not a smack talker and a man of big predictions and stuff, but Ricci's basically talking like it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to win the bout. It's all about him. Titans coming to Montreal because of me. I'm the man here. What do you have to say to him?
Well, I mean, we've brushed past in the past, and he's a real cocky dude and thinks that the world revolves around him. But come July 18th, I'm gonna bring him back down to the real world and then put a beating on him.
Pat Bam Bam Healy. Pat, it was great to get you back on the program, brother. It's been too long. We wish you the best of luck, and I look forward to seeing you in Montreal, July the 18th.
Hey, Gabe, I always appreciate it, man. You're a true pro, and, I always enjoy talking with you.
Hey, thanks for the kind words, Pat. It's always a pleasure, bro.
Yep.
There's Pat Bam Bam Healy with us. Man, we could have went on for the entire program right there. Really enjoyed the conversation. So many things I wanted to get to with Pat. Just as far as the modernization of the industry, the Reebok deal, Aldo talking about a union, get a couple of fight picks with him. But, hey, we've only got a half hour's time here. And you know what? We got another guy that's pretty good at breaking it down. Joey Odessa. He joins me next.